Hello, Proxy Table Gaming, PTG. We are back. Lucky Sixes is with me, Hyper G.
Yeah.
Was that boomboxing? Without the booming?
Was it boomboxing?
So we've got another battle report today.
Yes.
It is I battling in my Dread Elf project. Stage 2, you could call it, battle number 2, going up against DanT and the gnomes that look surprisingly like dwarves in this picture. So yeah, Dan's got an awesome concept for his Dwarven Holds, hasn't he?
Yeah, we've seen a few pictures. Already.
She's building it for the tabletop. It's unique on UB, as you'll see in a minute, because he's built it on UB exactly like he's built it on the tabletop, and we can't wait to play it in person.
But it still doesn't do it justice.
No, definitely not. So yeah, the on tabletop is going to be incredible.
Yeah,
but yes, he does play Dwarven Hold rules, calling it gnomes. So that'll be explained in due time. I think we've come across DanT in a Gobbo battle before.
Yes.
A couple of battles, in fact, actually. I think Gobbo might have lost to Dan a couple of times. I don't know. Can't really remember.
I think there was one win, one loss, wasn't there?
Oh, was there? Maybe.
Or maybe that was against Chris. I don't know.
I'm sure Dan can put it in the comments if he was 2-0 up against Gobbo.
Yeah.
I think he had revenge to get after Art of War 3. So. But anywho, this is my first battle against DanT. Very much looking forward to it. We played Counter Thrust and King of the Hill. Not a fan of King of the Hill, who is, but Counter Thrust is interesting though, because it does mean we're only 18 inches apart.
Yeah, a bit closer.
And I'm a combat army, so that's good. Obviously, you do have to be 20 inches away from each other though, units wise, so it's not quite as close. But yeah, I quite like Counter Thrust. And this is my slightly revised Dread Elf list. So a couple of quite dramatic changes, really. I've dropped the Beastmaster and the Manticore. You're shaking your head. You don't like that?
It's the closest thing you've come to a dragon.
I was going to say, yeah, I could take a dragon, but I didn't.
Could actually take a dragon.
Yeah, I could actually. I don't know. Yeah, I basically felt that I didn't have enough points to make the Manticore character fighty. And I know how hypocritical it'd be if I started using a Manticore casting spells or not getting him in combat, because that's something I've always had a go at you with your dragon. Is you're on a dragon and you're not putting him in combat. I was basically doing the same in my first battle. I had a Manticore and I didn't want to get him in combat because he wasn't killy enough. So I've dropped that in favour of going magic heavy. I brought in a Warlock Outcast, Wizard Master on Cosmo. She's not a leader, so she isn't the general. The Temple Legate takes over as the general, one that isn't the BSB. But I've never.
Is she lower leadership than Beastmaster?
Discipline 9.
Okay, so it's still decent.
Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. I've never used Cosmo before. I've never had it available to me in any of my normal army books. So giving it a go. She's also got the Moithir's Mirror item, which is a 5-up Aegis, and every time I pass an Aegis, she gets an attack back. So it's a bit like your Spike Shield, but on the Aegis. Yeah. And on a Wizard who's only got one attack normally, potentially it could do more damage than her actual attack.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny. So yeah, I thought I'd try that out. It is 65 points though, which is only 5 points less than Destiny's Call. So I'm trying it, and yeah, we'll see. My Temple Legate BSB has got a slightly different setup. I dropped Lightning Band Braces because it's not really that good as a bound spell, especially now I've got an extra master in. And I added Mask of the Warcrow, which means her unit causes fear, which is nice. And anyone with fear within 6 inches rerolls their 1s to wound. So I'm liking that as an idea, because I've got a few monsters hanging around. So there's that idea. I had 40 points left over and I stuck in a Scepter of Power just quickly, to be honest. But I'll see if I like that. I really have a bit of a pet hatred about failing spells when you should not fail them. Like if you roll 3 dice, generally you expect to get at least a 7, 8 on a bad roll, but 1, 1, 2 is possible. So I think a Scepter of Power just guards me against
especially
that.
on UB.
Hey, I wasn't going to say that. I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, man.
Also set the Book of Arcane Mastery on my other Temple Legate, so I've got the Alchemy +2 to the first spell to cast, which I think is awesome. Rejigged my core a bit. I've dropped the Raiding Party. They just don't do anything. You know, giving that Devastating Charge Hatred to a harnessed unit is fine, but after they've done that, they're just hanging around. They're not even scoring, so drop them. In favour of boosting up the second Temple Militant unit. They're basically just 2 units exactly the same. One of them has the Divine Altar in. One of them goes solo. Each with a Temple Legate as well, which is cool. Adjudicators are the same. I've also dropped the Thunder Pack. I really wanted to try it out, and I did in the last battle, but I just didn't do anything with them. They didn't get in combat, and they were just in the way. So I've just dropped them to see how I get on with less units on the table. And brought in a unit of Harpies, which can sit behind my lines and chaff.
Yeah, really good chaff.
I think they're needed, really. Other than that, the Kraken has lost its Colossal status because I don't have the Beastmaster General anymore. But I don't see that as a terrible thing. He's got 2 less handlers, but he's smaller. So, yeah, I know you didn't like the Colossal upgrade in the first place anyway. So
I don't know. I imagine it's for modelling purposes. I can't see anything other than that. Because the handlers are rubbish.
Well, they're not terrible. There are elves with lightning reflexes and +1 to wound. But
what strength?
Only 3. Yeah, you're right about that.
They're rubbish.
Hey, Temple Millicent's are strength 3. Are you calling them rubbish?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Interesting.
We'll see, won't we?
We will see. We will. And I've kept with the Mist Leviathan because I'm intrigued by him. He didn't do badly in the last one, and I'm intrigued. So
yeah.
Cool. Over to the Gnomish Technocracy, as DanT calls it. Love it. I mean, I've stuck all the names of everything in because it's just so inventive. It's just brilliant. And I mean, I said to Dan, I really will try and refer to your units by their proper names.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like referring to them as Dwarven Holds. Had to stick it in for reporting purposes.
Because they're not. They're Gnomish.
Technocracy.
Technocracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Technocracy.
Yeah, I don't think I heard him say it during the battle, but technocracy or technocracy. Who knows? High Tinkerer Whistleback is a king with Ancestral Memory. He basically could choose, with Ancestral Memory, the throne and the king. He could basically choose all of, I think, 4 of my units to have hatred against. So that's amazing. He's got hatred against everything that I have, really, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he got the Rune of Destruction, which means he's doing D3 wounds and a high strength on that king, so pretty lethal. Oh yeah, he has got War Throne. It's on the second line. And a Holdstone, so that is a bricky unit that he's going to stick him in. Going with the Protectotrons, which is the D-Watch. Got a Runic Smith, Arcangineer Lovecraft. 3 battle runes, and the Anvil, so 6 spells, which is awesome for dwarves because they can get 6 spells off in a turn, potentially. And Foreman Widget, BSB. Hudan was really desired to use his pistol during this battle. So we'll see how he gets on with that. 2 units of small clan marksmen with guild-crafted handguns. Clan warriors with spears and shields. Sorry, I mean boombots and SP-34Rs. Sorry, Dan. A whirly bomber with shrapnel bombs and 2 whirly boppers. 2 bolts. You can see what they are on the screen. I don't need to tell you they're bolt throwers. The Protectotrons is causing me more problems than Dan. Dan's probably laughing his socks off right now. And 6 N4 Sirs, Hold Guardians. And he chose +1 strength and AP on those guys for the battle.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Is that for the Kraken? What is that?
I guess.
Well, strength 5 normally, so that gets strength 6.
Strength 6, right. AP3 now. Yeah. Yeah. I guess he doesn't gain much from Vanguard.
Or agility, surely is the other one.
Yeah, I think being agility 4, 5 on the charge, would mean they'd attack at the same time as me. So maybe worth considering. But
yeah,
goes with the strength. And this is how we deploy. I suppose I'm going to have the same issue as you did with the...
You find the transformers or something?
Yeah, there is that. So we're in the bottom left now. That'll do. Cool. Not to say everything doesn't happen in the bottom left. So yeah, he's got these little bots as his units, and that's really cool. It is really cool. So left to right for myself, I've got the Harpies, the Kraken, Hydra. Kraken actually starting in the water because he gets a bonus. Devastating charge, is it?
Release the Kraken.
Yeah,
you have to say that when he charges.
Well, indeed. Yeah. I can't remember what bonus he gets in the water, but obviously there was water there. I won the roll off to choose sides, and I obviously chose the side with the water just for the Kraken, even though I have no intention of staying there.
So, and a hill, I guess.
But, maybe. Hydra's next to the Kraken because they're a double team. The militant unit with my general is in the middle. Militant unit with BSB and the Divine Altar is in the field currently. Pushed back by counter thrust, really, 20 inches away. We have to drop 3 each, and Dan dropped his boom bots in the forest quite early to keep me back, which is good play. And then got the Adjudicators on the right flank with my Warlock Outcast and the Miss Leviathan keeping within 8 inches of everything to give me a +4 march my first turn. Over on his side, he's got the Whirly Bopper, the N4s, Old Guardians, Boombot, Bolt Thrower, Protectrons and the King, the Anvil behind, Boombot in the forest, Whirly Bopper with a Whirly Bomber behind, and the Spear unit with his BSB and Runic Smith in, and a Bolt Thrower on the right hand side. His Bolt Throwers were rune crafted, so they actually scouted within his deployment zone, so they came down last. But I wasn't actually too disappointed with where they went, because that Bolt Thrower on the right is right behind a hill and they do have Accurate though, so I suppose he can still shoot across on my gigantic, but it wasn't going to change my game plan where the Bolt Thrower was, put it that way. Cool. I dropped as soon as I could for first turn, taking a leaf out of your book, this new army. And I have got +4 march on my first turn. So I go first, and I move up.
Oh, I love it. What a sight.
Absolutely. That's beautiful, isn't it? Everything just comes forward. I completely abandoned the other side of the rock in the middle. I'm going all the way down this side. Objective to King of the Hill. I actually chose the hill to defend.
Yeah.
He chose, very cleverly, the ruins on the other side. And I decided I'm not going to go and win the objective. I'm just not going to do it. I've got 3 scoring. Yes, I could put a militant unit over there and take on his Hold Guardians and probably win. I think I would win that with some magic support. But I just decided I want to blitz through everything and defend the hill. Just make sure I don't lose the objective, basically. So right from the off, I was going for a max 17 points. But there's that. It was at this point of the battle, as I was moving the Adjudicators, that I realised I'd made a mistake. My Adjudicators were in the wrong formation. I always want them to be deploying 8 wide, and for some unknown reason, I'm 7 wide. Because I want to attack first with 3 ranks worth of attacks.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm 7 wide. Ranks doesn't help me. Rank bonus. I want to kill stuff. But by that point, I'd already deployed. I'd already moved up. It did mean that I was slightly less aggressive with moving them forward. I could have moved a bit further with the +4 march and got right in front of those spears. But I decided, okay, fine, I'm 7 wide. What I'll do is I'll sit on the hill, and Dan has got a charge with his spears. I don't want him to charge me. It's fairly close. I don't think he needs a lot.
Yeah.
But if I stay there and stay on the hill, that's better for me. Wasting that extra march distance is better than getting too close, is what I'm thinking. Because I wasn't happy with being 7 wide at all. Yeah. I just think 2 ranks.
If you were 7 wide, would you just charge move forward 14.
If I was 8 wide, yeah, I
8
would
wide,
have got right up there. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I probably would have tried and stayed on the hill, still centre on the hill, but I could have got another couple of inches, maybe a bit closer. Because spears are not as dangerous on the charge. It's still dangerous. It's a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you would get plus strength on the charge as well. So, yeah, there's that. I did use the +4 everywhere else, though. The militants all legged it forwards. So that was good. And now my Miss Leviathan can sit behind the hill and just move up in its own time. So, yeah, so it was 11 inches between the spears and the Judicators. So he had 8 to successfully charge it.
But you got some magic off them.
I got some magic. I got Know Thine Enemy to give them +2 offensive and agility to the Judicators. Wasn't massively important, the actual spell, but what I wanted was Guiding Light, the tribute, just in case he charged me and it went wrong. Because I wasn't feeling as confident in my Judicators as I would normally be with 8 wide. So, in case it went horribly wrong, he did charge me. I wanted to have a cold-blooded break test, basically.
Sure, yeah.
I also got 2 wounds on the Whirly Bopper at the front with Quicksilver Lash. I didn't quite manage to get need to kill, do 3 wounds.
So it's the one on him. How many wounds left?
He's counting down. Yeah, I really struggle to get my head around that because I don't do it myself. But yeah, I'll try and get it right throughout the battle. Cool. He moving into his turn 1. He moves up the Whirly Bopper and shoots to kill 1 Temple Militant, which is fine. And he's also stuck it right in front of my other Temple Militants. You'll see a better picture in a minute of the whole thing, hopefully. The Whirly Bomber moves up and kills 3 Judicators with its sweeping attack, its shrapnel bombs. But he did roll a 6 to... So it was 12 hits. I think you roll a d6 times 2 for the amount of hits. And on a 6, he can't use the bombs again.
Okay.
So he got like loads of hits, but the bomber's ability is gone. He's still got a forged repeater, so he can still shoot his normal gun, but he can't use his sweeping attack the rest of the game. However, the upgrade for the bombs is 35 points, and 3 Judicators is 60 points. So even though I would be aggrieved at losing the bomb in turn 1, he still has managed to make the points count. So
sure,
there is that. What else we got? So yeah, that's how it looks with his movement.
Ooh.
So yeah, the bombers and the bopper are both in front of my Temple Militants, basically.
Yeah.
I think the forged repeater. Oh no, that's shooting actually. The shooting from the boom bots also kills another 6 Temple Militants as well. So yeah, they're going to get absolutely destroyed unless I get those militants in quickly. So 6 up armor. They don't even get that save to his shots. So there you go. His bolt throwers do miss though. The Kraken has got hard target, and even though the bolt throwers are accurate, the hard target cancels that out. So they're hitting on 5s, I think. Yep. Let's see. So turn 2, charge.
Charge. That's a long charge.
Yeah, that one in the middle is a heck of a charge. So, some interesting decisions from Dan. I charged the militants in the middle into his Whirly Bomber, which is the one near the spears now, and worked out that the militants could touch the bomber, and then the bomber would have to close the door to me. If I go back to that, yeah, I could touch the bomber. I wouldn't be able to close the door because I was in his front. His front's facing left, and he would have to close the door to me. And at that point, I would then overrun into his bopper.
On his turn.
Yeah, and then it would be his turn, and he'd be in the same position as he was, but facing down militants and Judicators, which he didn't want. That was the whole point of his chaffing. So what he decided to do was flee that, fled right in front of his spear unit, which probably isn't ideal for either of us. I don't know, probably better for me than for him, but it depends what he's trying to do with his spears, I guess. I didn't really know at this point.
Yeah.
I redirected my charge into the whirly, what's it called? Bopper?
Bomber.
Whirly bopper. No, the bopper on the left.
Bomber,
Yeah, bopper on the left. And he fled 3 inches with that one.
Ouch.
So he moved him forward to chaff me and then fled both, which is interesting. But of course, I can't redirect a third time.
So, yeah, it's double fled. So
he has
similar thing.
He has done what he wanted to. My other Teleport militants charged the boom bots in the forest. I was just thinking of blowing through them and hopefully overrunning past the Deep Watch. And if I did get that, then I'd overrun towards the anvil and be in his grill, as you like to say. Mm-hmm. It was a bit of a risk, if I'd have overrun and the Deep Watch had still been able to charge my flank, then I'd been in trouble. But
so he basically flees with everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Robot says no.
Indeed. With my Judicators, I'm desperately looking for an opportunity to reform them without losing position from it. And I see a little cheeky option to charge the Bolt Thrower with a reroll and reform after combat into the formation I want to be in. So declare
right
that.
to wrong.
Yeah, so that's a good opportunity to do that. My Millicents in the centre run down the bopper, of course, because it's not fed very far at all. I think it was an auto success. And I pass my discipline to a reform. From that, obviously my Millicents on the left fail their charge into the boom bots because I think they fled 12 inches so far away. My Judicators need the reroll from the hill in order to get into the Bolt Thrower, which was a bit scary. And my Mist Leviathan moves up on the right. I chaff my Harpies with his Deep Watch. That's the other way around. Chaffed his Deep Watch with my Harpies. Because I didn't want the Deep Watch.
You have chaffed his... I mean, you're a flyer, though, so I guess you haven't. Right? But
what's that?
I was going to say, you have chaffed your Harpies.
yeah. If they weren't
actually,
flyers,
they can fly.
They can chaff what they like. What are you on about?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're in a good position.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, if he doesn't countercharge me though to get rid of them, then I will charge his Bolt Thrower. So but I wanted to protect the flank of the Temple Militants that were obviously moving. I can't have a flank charge with his Deep Watch. And the Kraken and the Hydra just chill out for the time being. They don't need to get too close. I'm not really scared of his shooting. What with hard target on the Kraken. I mean, obviously, if I take one hit from a Bolt Thrower and it does 3 wounds to me, then I have to either get aggressive or hide.
Any consideration at this point of going left of the rock?
Not at this point, no. I'm more than happy to bully his units on this side at this point. It was something that Dan said he was surprised at, actually. But yes, at this point, no.
Fair enough.
What else have we got? Get a bit of magic off. Get Ice and Fire, kills 4 spears. Oh, I actually only just noticed that SP34RS is spears when you write it down. Or it looks like spears.
There you go.
Dan's a genius. Or probably I'm
it's one of those
not realising it until that point.
Thinkers,
Cool. Yes, and I get Perception of Strength on the Militants as well. Thinking basically that, I don't know what my thinking was on that really, because he can't charge me with his unit while the bomber is there. But yeah, not sure. But either way, Perception Strength's awesome because now that militant unit is Strength 5. Cool. I killed the Bolt Thrower on the right hand side and reformed to be Juicy 8 wide. Yes.
Yep.
And it's worked. So now I'm happy. I should have been that formation from the start. So, and even better, I'm in the flank of his spear unit. So that's a lovely position to be in. Really loving that. On to Dan's turn 2, and he charges the Harpies, of course. Moves up a Bopper from the left-hand side, is moving into the middle, ready to shoot more militants. I think he killed 3 militants with his shooting as well there.
Yeah.
The boom bots near the anvil at the back, they rally, as does his bomber. So he can move his spear unit to face my Judicators. He runs his BSB Thane out towards the militants as well, to roadblock me, basically, and to protect his Spears unit's flank. So there's that.
Interesting that he didn't curve him in any way.
No, he didn't try to redirect. He's just tried to roadblock me. Yeah, a speed bump. Yeah. And then actually the militant that's been taking out that unit, that was the Thane's pistol shot, which Dan was so determined to do. But of course we realised that he'd marched. So in the next picture, that militant is back alive. So yeah, sorry Dan, your pistol will not do anything. Yeah, I felt a bit mean when I pointed that out. What else have we got? Actually I might have covered that up with us. Yeah, his bolt thrower does a wound to the Kraken. No, his boombots do a wound to the Kraken.
Boombots.
The bolt thrower continues to miss. That may be a theme. Spoiler alert. Cool. So into Dread Elves turn 3, and actually that's me putting back. That's his magic. I think he gets a bit of magic off, and my militant is back. That's all that is. Into Dread Elves turn 3, and this is where it gets really complex.
Blimey!
I know. Yeah. So what's going on here is I don't know why my tape measure from the militants is actually on the bomber. That's a bit misleading because I can't charge that with the BSB in the way. Yeah. So that's just the tape measure being in the wrong place. But yeah, I charged the BSB. I also had a little bit of a chat with Dan, and Tommy T was on the call with us at this point. So it was a really good discussion between the three of us, actually, because, friendly game and all that. And I actually talked about if I charged the Judicators into the bomber and got in and moved them in first, then the Mist Leviathan would only be able to get into that right-hand flank of the spear unit, and he wouldn't get many attacks on me, but I'd get all my attacks on him, because the Judicators would pretty much be standing right in front of the spears if the bomber held, because the bomber has fled. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
So if you imagine the bomber is where my mouse pointer is, about there.
Right, sure. Yeah.
The Judicators moved to here, but my Mist Leviathan charged the spears and would only be able to impact there.
Yep.
That was what we were talking out. In hindsight, I think that would have been a terrible idea if I'd done that. Because the Mist Leviathan on his own against the spears, he's got
combat res alone.
Combat res alone. And it's -1 to wound on those spears as well. So my actual gigantic monster is actually wounding them on 5s, even with Stomp. So he's only strength 4, the Mist Leviathan, which is crazy, but I guess that's rules, isn't it? New unit, they're trying it out. And I probably wouldn't be able to justify it being strength 5, who knows. But yeah, so fortunately, and I don't know whether talking it out made Dan flee his bomber to stop that. But either way, I wasn't sure at the time what was the right or wrong thing for either of us to do, because we were just talking out what charges I could do. And either way, I declared the Judicator on the bomber, and Dan fled it, which completely made the whole discussion pointless.
Yeah,
because the bomber's now gone. And so I redirected the Judicators into the spears because I thought, I'm going to just go to town with them, and I get the Mist Leviathan in on the corner of there to help out as well.
Yeah,
and thinking that my militants, if they can get through the BSB, then they can overrun and take out the bomber on the way through.
Just a thought, and I haven't obviously seen the next picture.
Aye.
Can the Mist Leviathan definitely get in? Because you have to maximise models, right?
Yeah.
So if you put your unit that's in front of the Leviathan square on, has it got enough movement to actually... Because you can only wheel once, right? And you have to move the first one first. The unit in front first.
Right, yeah. Well, my Mist Leviathan can fly.
Oh,
does that help?
It's irrelevant then. Yes, that's absolutely.
I mean, see the next picture. I think it's the next picture. think it's the next picture. Yes. Does that help?
Yeah, that's fine. It's irrelevant if he can fly.
The Leviathan can fly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's fly 714.
Great.
So
good man.
Yeah, there you go. This is actually after combat and magic.
Ooh.
So a lot's happened in terms of moving on the phases. I get perception strength off on the militants again in the middle. So they are strength 5, AP 1. They do have a rending banner. They don't pop it. But I only do 1 wound to the BSB. He actually challenges or offers a duel to my Temple Legate, my BSB. But I decline it because my Temple Legate is not much more killy. She's strength 4, whereas she's strength 5, whereas they're strength 4. No, sorry. She would have been strength 6. I'm strength 5 with perception of strength. But she's only got 4 attacks in total, whereas the Divine Altar and all of the Temple Militants combined have about, I think that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, have 17 attacks between them. So I decided to decline the challenge with my BSB in order to do 17 attacks on his BSB. Trouble is, he is res 5 and he has got a 3-up armor save, so he does save quite a lot. I didn't do great on my rolls. And
you were 8 wide, right?
And I was 8 wide. So I only do 1 wound to him in combat. He does 1 wound back to me, and I only actually win that 3-1, I think it was. Let's see. Did I write that down somewhere? No, combat res is 2-1 to me.
Yeah, you've got a banner.
Each. I've got a banner and a charge. 3-1. 3-1. It's a banner and a charge.
But he's got a charge.
Oh, he didn't charge.
Oh, you charged.
I
Yeah,
charged
sure.
him. So yeah, I win it 3-1.
But is he a BSB, do you say?
Oh, yes, that made it. That brings it back. Yeah, you're right.
So 3-2.
Yeah, so I only win by 1, and he sticks. And that's a bit scary. With the deep
I think that's good for you. That's good for you, really. Oh, I suppose if they get the deep watch in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Meanwhile, my Judicators, which I'm thinking they can do absolutely lethal amounts of damage to that spear unit. I only killed 10 of his spears. And basically it's 22 attacks. And I've written this down because I was like, Tommy T was absolutely rolling on the floor laughing at the whiffing that my Judicators did. 22 attacks, hitting on 3s with a reroll, wounding on 3s, no armor save allowed because I'm AP 4, and he has a 5-up Aegis. Dan's 5-up Aegis, I'm telling you, may as well have not bothered attacking. No, that's not true. I did kill 10. You know, that's still decent.
We'll say 21 because that's easier to do maths. So 14.
Yeah. It's not that
hits,
bad when you work
and
it out.
on 3s for 8. So probably let's say 4 miss after the reroll.
After the reroll, yeah.
So you're down to 18. Then wounded on 3s.
Yeah.
So 12 go through. With any reroll or anything on that?
No, not on that, no. But then he has got 5-up Aegis, so yeah.
So 12, and then 5-up Aegis.
It does, average-wise, just bring it down to about, to about 10. But it felt like I'd been aggrieved there. And when you work it out on average, it's about right, actually. But at the time, it was quite funny because Tommy was just like, the Judicators have screwed it up.
So if he rolled a lot of 5s, how many did you get through? You must have got a lot of wounds through then.
I think actually I did whiff on the wounding part. Actually,
okay.
It was the wounding part that I struggled with without the reroll. Yeah. So, yeah. But the key thing in that is the Miss Leviathan did 0 to help out.
Even with stomps and stuff.
Even with stomp, strength 4 stomp, wounding on 5s. It's got 2 D3 attacks, and I rolled a double 1. The amount of attacks he did.
-1 to wound, mate. That's crucial.
Yeah. So obviously the spears do stick. I think I did win. I had charge and a banner to get up to 12. He had 3 ranks and a banner to be on 11. So he was steadfast, and he stuck, obviously. But yeah, so I'm looking a little bit vulnerable if he manages to get his deep watch in. So obviously he declares it in his turn 3 and fails. Needed a 9.
What was it? Do you know?
He needed a 9, and he rolled a 1 and a 2. So,
right.
It wasn't even close.
He'd have been gutted if he needed like a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, no, he needed a 9. It wasn't. In fact, I mean, this shows after combat, I did combat reform.
Yeah.
To be an extra inch away. Basically go thinner and have ranks so that I could hopefully win on combat res next turn if I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
The BSB, that is. But yeah, I had reformed to be an extra inch away from the D-Watch to give myself a better chance. As it happened, he only rolled a 3, so he wasn't even close. But it felt better that I'd reformed to be further away.
Yeah, man.
The bomber rallies next to my Miss Leviathan, so he's also still in the way. His bopper on the left moves up. Actually, I can put this over here. Why am I doing it in silly place? Yeah, and is chaffing the Kraken and the Hydra, sort of, on the left. What else? His Hold Guardians are moving round the rock, but it's taken them 3 turns to get there, and I'm really happy about that. I mean, obviously, I have given up getting the objective, but I'm fine with that. So that's after Dan's failed charge with the Deep Watch. He starts shooting again, of course. Kills 7 more militants with his boombox.
Nice.
And the forged repeater on the whirly bopper. So yeah, those militants are just getting absolutely owned unless they do something quickly. And I turn 2 charged, and then in my turn 3, don't think I did much with them in my turn 3. By the looks of it.
Yeah. Is that all the magic he's got off?
Yeah, 3 on the spears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dwarf magic.
He had a big phase and he had 10 dice to my 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So he managed to get 3 spells through because he cast 5 spells. I was really hoping to not let him get that -1 to wound off.
Yeah.
But trouble is, when he's casting on a 5 with 2 dice, it's quite risky using 2 dice to dispel that. I know that you should get a 7 on average, but bad roll and you've lost 2 dice on nothing. So you almost have to use 3 dice to dispel 2 spells.
Who says dwarves aren't magic-y?
Oh, mate. Yeah. So yeah, magic goes crazy, and those adjudicators are not actually looking in a great position there. I don't think, unless they can really rack up the kills before
they're
the
going
spears
first, which is
attack.
the only good thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. And this is combat. So this time round, the adjudicators killed 9, 1 less than last time. With, I think I had 2 less attacks. So again, there or thereabouts. The spears killed 8 of my adjudicators, and there was a duel between the Runic Smith and my Outcast. I wanted to try the 5-up Aegis to see if I could actually use that to hurt him.
Yeah.
Because my 1 attack wasn't going to do anything. But if I saved an Aegis 5-up, then I would attack him back. Didn't pass an Aegis, so took a wound. So, yeah, great.
Fair enough.
But it was actually a drawn combat because he killed so many. I killed 9, had a banner, and he killed 8, 1 wound on my character. So in wounds, we were exactly the same, but he had a rank and a banner. In fact, that means he won by 1. Yeah. I've only written on my notes drawn combat, but I guess that means I stuck. So if I lost, I stuck. Maybe the numbers are a bit wrong there, but either way, I held around. I don't actually think I tested whether I should have done or not, but I've got my BSB right there, and I am high discipline, so I think I'd have been okay. Anywho, he did have rerolls on his hits and wounds, so actually he did less kills.
Yeah.
But he has got slightly less attacks because he's lost a few from his 3rd round. So.
Yeah, 4 less attacks, isn't it?
But here's the big news on that combat. The Leviathan, 0 wounds. Again. Oh, man. Leviathan's literally just co-starring there.
What does it do? What does Leviathan... Talk to me about Leviathan.
It's got 2d3 attacks, strength 4. So obviously,
What else does it do? What's its
it gives you +4
rules?
march in your first turn to infantry within 8 inches.
Okay.
And it also means if you draw the roll off for the choice of deployment zone, you will you win the choice. So I like that. I mean, I think maybe I even won deployment choice based on that this game.
That's interesting as well, because a lot of people say it's not that beneficial to win because you want to be dropping for first, right?
Oh sure, yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, and this list of mine,
the +4 march, +4 march is good, but yeah, interesting. Okay,
but yeah, cool. In combat, it's just not doing anything at the moment.
How many points?
265.
Yeah, that's fine then. That's right. Okay, cool.
265. That's what I said, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's decent.
I think it's all right. I'm liking it at the moment, despite that. So, go into Dread Elves turn 4.
Oh, does that mean you beat the BSB?
Yes, killed the BSB. Yeah.
Killed him or ran him down?
Killed him.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Which was awesome, obviously. I did have 14 attacks and I was strength 5. So, I should have killed him the first time round. But, ages saves. Yeah, that's why they've got him. What we got? The Kraken charges the Bopper in the flank. And I've worked it out that he's out of line of sight of the Deep Watch, which is cool. So that if the militants, well, I suppose I'm getting the militants in as well, so that doesn't actually matter.
Sure. There's no overrun there.
No, exactly. On the right-hand side, though, and Dan, I think, was kicking himself for this, I charged the militants into his whirly bomber, because the whirly bomber was right next to the Leviathan, if you remember, and he fled the charge, thinking I couldn't get into his spears, and I had line of sight on the left-hand side model.
Ouch.
Obviously, you can't really see it well because we didn't have a picture of my reform. But yeah, I had line of sight and I could move forward and then wheel into the flank. I was planning that turn as though the bomber held, and then all of a sudden this presented itself to me. Awesome. And bearing that in mind, I moved my other militant unit that was getting absolutely shot to shit just in front to chaff everything.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that my militants on that left-hand side are agility 5. So even if the dwarfs charge, I'm still going to get a chance to slice up quite a lot of them.
At least they go, don't they? So,
yeah. I do move my general out, though. She's hiding behind the Kraken.
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't need to sacrifice her in her unit. She does offer -1 to hit against blades, which is what they're armed with. But she'd still go down. Though they'd still go down even with that against Deep Watch. So, so I save her life. And I get Perception of Strength up on the militants on the right as well, of course.
Oh, not the Leviathan?
No, it wasn't on the Leviathan, no. Oh, no, sorry, that was on them for last turn. Sorry, check that. That was on there from last turn. In Magic, I managed to get Glory of Gold off on the militants on the right, which obviously, again, makes them higher strength, makes them strength 4 and AP 2 before they pop a Rending Banner. No, AP 1.
It's just +1 AP.
Yeah, but it gives them rerolls to wound because of flammable.
Yeah.
God, there's so many buffs and things. It takes actually ages to get your combat figures right, let alone report on them. So yeah, I was delighted with getting that unit in the flank there. And Dan rolls a really poor Dispel roll on Perception of Strength on the militants in the middle. So that's a bonus. Not only am I attacking first and slicing up as many as I can, but I'm actually strength 5 with them.
Yeah, great.
On the way through. So that's amazing. Over here, the spears are eradicated. The Runic Smith, because he was in a duel with my outcast, though, survives, runs away, and gets a +6 for his flee.
Nice.
Now, I'll be honest, this reform, or post-combat, I had to literally hang on the coattails of Tommy and Dan. They were talking me through what I could and couldn't do. And even now, I don't feel massively confident that we got it right. But the main thing was we were happy at the time. Or happy as we could be. My Leviathan rolled a 5 to pursue. My Judicators didn't roll enough. I think they rolled a 6 to pursue, but the Runic Smith had rolled a 12, so we weren't catching it.
Mm-hmm.
The Militants chose not to pursue because I needed to reform them to be facing the Deep Watch again. Although in hindsight, maybe I should have just gone for the Runic Smith and got up in that corner. But because they didn't pursue the Militants, they had to do a reform. I'm trying to get this right. But my Leviathan...
No, they did a pivot, didn't they?
Yes, they did a pivot. Reform. That's right. Yeah, well, they couldn't reform much anyway, because the Leviathan had to stay in its position because it failed the pursue.
Yep.
And they have to stay. They can stay within an inch. They don't bump because they've got to within an inch to begin with.
As long as the center stays the same, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the Judicators, because they pursued into the bomber, they killed the bomber and got a combat reform. Got a reform.
Because the bomber was
the bomber was fleeing, and the Judicators rolled enough to get into the bomber. So so they got a reform and went 3 wide, which allowed that to happen. So does that seem right? I mean, obviously we'll ask the comments to let us know if there's something glaringly wrong with this. But that was how we finished.
So, can you go back?
Of course.
So looking at this is the 90 degree. If you overran with the guys on the right, Judicators, you wouldn't clip any of your units. So
no,
that's
I can
fine.
go straight forward. Yeah.
What I'd say is the back of your unit. Did he do any wounds to your militants?
No, I attacked first. He didn't even attack. The spears were all dead.
Probably the positioning of your militants is slightly wrong in that the rear of, if you're facing southwest,
I should be still in line with the Leviathan, shouldn't I?
You should be still in line with the Leviathan.
Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah, and I'm not here.
So the back of your unit should be.
I should be a bit nearer the left, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, fine.
Yeah.
But that's probably the only.
In fact, I didn't want to only be 3 wide with the Judicators. I was only 3 wide with the Judicators because of those extra militants. Maybe that's why that didn't make sense in my head at the time.
Yeah. So that's otherwise, I think you're fine. And obviously, once because you would have always stayed. So, like, if this is the back of your militants, this is your Judicators.
That makes sense.
And you would have stayed. You would have stayed within an inch, so you're fine in that.
Yeah, my centre's moved slightly to the right there, hasn't
it? No, the centre of your militants has moved this way.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Whereas it shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, only ever slightly, and it didn't really affect the game apart from perhaps you going 3 wide. So
yeah. Cool, but yeah, that was obviously getting that flank charge to kill his spears. It bailed the Judicators out. I think they might have still been able to scrape it, but you know, I probably would have given up half points if they'd have lost too many more models.
Yeah,
as it is, I've got 12 Judicators left, and he needs to get them down to 7, I think, in order to get half points. Okay. So I think 1 or 2 more turns of combat, and the Judicators are giving up some points. As it is, they're okay.
Yeah, not much shooting at them either, is there?
No. Obviously, yeah, I mean, the militants being slightly further to the right than they should be doesn't matter either too much because the Deep Watch are chaffed by the other militants. So there was no counter charge for me being a bit closer.
Yeah, sure.
But like I say, we all discussed it through and we were all happy enough. So
yeah, no, fair enough.
Into Gnome turn 4. Everyone charges the militants. He could make it so that the Hold Guardians got in as well.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't massively understand it, but he could, and it's fine. In my head, I'll go back to that. In my head, they couldn't get past the Deep Watch.
Sure.
And if you just wheel the Hold Guardians without moving the Deep Watch, I didn't think there was a gap there. Enough of a gap. But
okay.
Yeah. Either way. And it felt like the Deep Watch got more in. They moved over, which I thought made the gap even less for the Hold Guardians.
But he can both see you, and the priority is to get more units in, I think.
Yeah.
So that's the most he can maximise by getting both in.
But I wasn't sure who he'd moved first. Because you declare both charges, right? And I'm fearless, so I hold. Mm-hmm. And then you have to move them one at a time, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure
how... Go back to...
Yeah. I'm not sure how... Because I thought if you move the Deep Watch first and maximise, then they get to where they ended up. That's fine.
No, but you... So in order to get the Hold Guardians, he'd need to leave a certain space. So it wouldn't... In order to maximise, he'd have to go... Like, if it was just the Deep Watch, he'd go as much over left as possible. But he doesn't. He puts them over so that there's enough space for the Hold Guardians, right?
Yeah, but the Hold Guardians haven't got enough room to move even now through that gap.
Okay. Well, I
didn't really get it, but it wasn't a disaster. I was always planning on tearing up as many as I could with those militants anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, we played that on. So he's in.
Sure.
So whatever. But I can't say I was following it very well. And Dan and Tommy were talking it through, and they sounded like they knew what they were doing. So I was just like, yeah, fine. But even now, I'm trying to understand it, and I'm like, I still don't see it. But like I say, I was fine with it, and I am fine with it.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to learn, and I just still don't get it. Oh, Hyper-G. Anyway, his Runic Smith rallies up at the top right, so he isn't running off the board. So there's that. On what turn we're in? Dwarf turn 4 charges. Yeah, they're the only charges. He gets some magic off on his dwarf units over here. I was really expecting he'd get -1 to wound on the Hold Guardians. And I was set to dispel that with all I had. And his last spell, at which point I had no dice left, he did re-roll to wounds on his Deep Watch.
Okay.
I was delighted, absolutely delighted, because I'm thinking about my countercharge with the Kraken and the Hydra.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not going into the Deep Watch, even with monsters, even with Stomp, because they're going to stick there. The King's got
so much armor
wounds
as well.
The King will absolutely mince up my monsters in 2 or 3 turns, if maybe less. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and get the Hold Guardians and leave the Deep Watch alone. And I was sure he was going to put -1 to wound on his Hold Guardians, and he didn't. So I was delighted by that.
Yeah.
His Boombots do a wound to the Kraken, which was quite ironic because it was one of the hardest shots they've had all game. I think they were hitting on 7s, and they do another wound to the Kraken. And this is the good old dice sequence. So I'll talk you through. My militants were attacking first with 12 attacks, and I put every attack that I could on the Hold Guardians because they were the ones that I wanted to kill the most. But this is actually the rolls to try and hit the Deep Watch. And 12 attacks, and I've rolled really well there. I was hitting on 3s.
Amazing, yeah.
I was hitting on 3s, but didn't roll any 3s. But that's still a very good roll. I might have been hitting on 2s. No, I wouldn't. I'd have been hitting on 3s. So
do you have battle focus?
I do, yes.
Just an incredible roll.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a massive, awesome roll. So I rolled 12 hits and ended up with 15. 12 attacks and ended up with 15 hits. I got 11 of my 15 wounds through because I was wounding on 2s. Because his, I was strength 5 and I have ruthless efficiency. So wounding on 2s. I got through 11 wounds. He saved 4 of them with 5 up armor, and then saved 5 of them with a 5 up Aegis.
Yeah.
So that's a roller coaster of emotions. That is. I'm hitting really well. I'm wounding very well, and then he just saves them all.
Yeah.
I do 2 wounds to the Deep Watch, so it's not quite the last hurrah of the Temple.
Man, Deep Watch.
Still, yeah, it was funny times. He then surprised me again and overran with the Hold Guardians into the Kraken. He could clip me. It was very, very close, literally 0.1 of an inch. But he could, and I was happy with that as well, because it now means that my Hydra's got a lot easier charge into his flank. It's my turn next. It's my turn 5 next.
That's what you go for, and with no counter charges either.
Yeah. The reason he did it, Dan explained, was that the Hold Guardians are attacking at the same time as the Kraken. If they charge, agility 3, my Hydra will be before them.
Sure.
But yeah, so that was why he did it. But yeah, I was happy with that because it meant my Hydra had a decent chance. I think that's all that's showing. His Deep Watcher just reformed to be facing my militants. And yeah, so I go for some more charges. At the top right, Judicators charge the Runic Smith to finish the job, hopefully. My Mist Leviathan flies over the militants to charge the boombots. The Mist Leviathan is gigantic. The Divine Altar is only large, so I can see them, which is cool.
Okay, yeah.
And the Hydra charges in the flank of the Hold Guardians. The Temple Legate, my general, charges into the front. She's got a 4-up Aegis in combat.
Cool. Yeah, so you'll only have a few anyway.
I thought the Hold Guardians are going to be prioritising killing the Kraken, because it does D3 wounds. So
yeah.
I didn't think my general was in danger of being attacked much. So that was the thinking there. And that was how the charges ended up. Got everything in.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't think the Mist Leviathan needed much to succeed. And obviously the Hydra was auto. Everything was auto apart from the Leviathan, actually, and made it. I moved my Temple Militants with the Divine Altar backwards a bit, because the thinking behind that was I had a lot of combats going on at once, and I wanted to not have to buff them for an inevitable Deep Watch charge. I wanted to buff the combats I was doing and then fight that battle later if I had to. So I moved back to give him a long charge. And speaking of magic, I got the Aura. What's it called? Stars Align on all 3 of these units. So they're re-rolling their hits and divine attacks. Divine attacks doesn't help. Even the re-roll to hit isn't massively effective because I've got hatred on the Hydra. But it's still very useful, on all of them. So
on the Kraken, for sure.
On the Kraken, especially re-rolling to hit. So
because he's strength 7, isn't he? So
yeah. And I also got Perception of Strength on the Mist Leviathan, so he's now strength 5 against the boombots.
Hey, finally!
So, yay! Maybe he'll do something. He is on his own, so he hasn't got any Judicators to bail him out. In the combat, I go crazy on... Well, I say go crazy. My Hydra and my Temple Legate attack first. My Hydra, Dan Aegis saves everything. I think I got only 2 wounds through with my Hydra, and Dan rolled a double 6. So, dull. Because I think he didn't have shield wall. Oh, no, actually, no, it wasn't even Aegis saves, it was armor saves.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have Aegis saves on his Hold Guardians. But my Kraken absolutely obliterated them. But unfortunately, the remaining Hold Guardians, I think there were 2 left, did kill the Kraken. Did exactly 3 wounds to the Kraken.
Yeah.
So they went down with a fight, but I think I came out better in that regard.
All the charges and everything.
Yeah, and I overran, pursued, and the Hydra ran down the Hold Guardians. To the general, my Temple Legate did actually also pursue, just to give myself an extra chance of catching. But it was the Hydra with the Swift Ride that got him.
Nice.
Yes, so my Temple Legate is facing the rock, not the Deep Watch.
Okay, yeah.
Which is kind of what it looks like. Yeah, so that was nice. Even losing my Kraken, I'll take that. They're worth double the points of the Kraken. So he tried a cheeky little flank charge on my Judicators, who didn't.
That is cheeky.
Yeah, they didn't manage to kill the Runic Smith in my turn. I know it was a duel. I think it was. No, it wasn't a duel. It wasn't a duel. I didn't accept that time round. I'd taken a wound from the second round of the duel last time, so my outcast is sitting on 1 wound because again she didn't pass any Aegis saves. But they didn't kill the Runic Smith. The Mist Leviathan did kill the boombots and pursued and caught them just enough to move out of line of sight of the Protectortrons Deep Watch. So that was cool. But yeah, he tries this cheeky flank charge and fails it.
Needed double six.
It was 15 inches. So yeah, he needed exactly that. But yeah, I think he needed slightly less to go into the militants in front of him, but decided that was a better play. Didn't get the double six, obviously. So that's where he ended up after that. Hydra, going into my turn because he didn't have any combats. And magic-wise is all defensive dwarf magic. So Hydra charges into the boombots in my turn 6, actually. Yes. Oh, in his shooting phase, in his turn 5, he did 1 wound to the Hydra. With the boombots again, the bolt thrower still hasn't hit. And the Hydra hasn't even got hard target. Hydra gets into the boombots, takes a 1 wound. No, the wound from shooting the last turn. And this is my turn 6 movement. So the Leviathan gets into the bolt thrower with the idea that if I can kill the bolt thrower, I overrun into the boombots to help the Hydra out. I decided to not declare the charge with adjudicators on the anvil. I didn't want to get stuck there.
It's only 200 points.
Exactly, and have a flank charge and lose the adjudicators. The adjudicators are worth quite a lot of points. So move my character casters all around so they can support with magic. And I think I've basically decided that my militants with the Divine Altar are not... Well, I have decided. I haven't declared the charge. So I've decided if he wants that combat, he's going to have to charge me. The being in the forest and losing steadfast isn't actually really a thing for militants, because if they lose combat, they're probably lost anyway. Being steadfast isn't something they want. They want combats and they want to kill you. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, sure.
Going into combat and worrying about steadfast is not really their game plan. So, but either way, I didn't want it. The Leviathan doesn't kill the bolt thrower, unfortunately, but the Hydra just does it on his own. So Hydra had a good day.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. I got Glory of Gold on my Temple Militants in case he charges me.
Sure.
Because that makes them amazing and flammable on his Deep Watch as well. So rerolls to hit. So I will mince up those Deep Watch if they come into me. At least that's the theory. And yeah, my Adjudicators are safe now. So going into this, there was quite a bit of a running comedy actually, especially with Tommy there, and we'd also been joined by Owen Holborn of the Ninjas. So it was really, really good fun going on. Dan at one point, I think he rolled, I can't even remember what he rolled it for, but he rolled dice without declaring what he was rolling them for. And then he just said, that's a practice. And yet, I joked at the time, because whatever it was relevant to, he needed to roll that amount of dice next if he decided to do it. Right. I think he didn't do it. But I joked that, well, if that had have succeeded, because whatever he rolled failed, if it had have succeeded, would he have said, that's what that is, instead of it being a practice? Because he hadn't said anything.
So why was he rolling lots of 2d6s for?
Oh, well, this was the joke, that he then declared a charge with the Deep Watch in his last turn, needing quite a high roll, and he basically rolled it he rolled the first one and failed. That was all legit. Right. But then he said, that's a practice, because that was the running theme that was going through. Okay. And he rolled loads. And we worked out that he didn't actually succeed the charge until that double 6, which was his 12th attempt.
Right. So he needed a 10, did he?
Yeah, it's kind of an in-joke, I guess, between the four of us. We were having fun. That Dan was doing practice rolls when they failed, but only real rolls when they succeeded. Yeah. So, yeah. Either way, the Deep Watch failed the charge. This is the last picture. And that was how it ended.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. Drawn objective. And I think, actually, before we go to the result, what we did, because we had a bit of time, was we played out this combat.
Okay. Yeah.
So I won't tell you the result just yet. It was looking good for me. That's not, but we played out this combat because it's just a practice was running through the whole theme of it. And this is what happened when Deepwatch met Temple Militants. What do you think? The charge doesn't make much difference.
Glory Gold's good. The fact you got Glory Gold off is quite big. What AP are you?
I've still got a Rending Mana to pop, so I would be AP 2.
Strength 3, AP 2.
Strength 4, AP 2.
Strength 4, AP 2. Yeah. You're going first, so you should smash them up. They don't do a massive amount to you. You challenge out the Warlord. Oh, no, I suppose you've got a thing. The Warlord could... I reckon the Divine Altar's gone because the Warlord smashes it up, but you win combat res.
Mm-hmm. His also -1 res because of the Divine Altar. So for my attacks, I'm Strength 4, and he's... So I'm wounding on 2s. But yeah, good prediction. I eradicate Deepwatch, apparently.
Did he not kill the altar? Did he not go for the altar?
I challenged with my Temple Legate BSB.
Did he not accept with his champion?
He accepted with the king, yeah.
Oh.
He did actually kill the BSB with his king.
Yeah,
So, there was always that. I mean, this was very much after the battle, nothing on it. So we had a bit of fun with it, really.
Sure, yeah.
But, the militants absolutely wreck.
Yeah, if they're res 3 instead of your strength 4, AP 2, he goes to 5 up, 5 up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we played
so
out,
many attacks.
Does it matter who charges or whatnot? I think we did it, neither of us charged, I don't know. But he didn't have many attacks back at me.
Yeah.
Only killed 3 militants with his attacks. So.
Mate.
But that didn't matter because the actual result, 15-5 to the Dread Elves.
15.
All on points because it was a drawn objective. So
yeah.
I kept my Judicator points, kept my big militant points, and
pretty big win then. Pretty big win for the Dread Elves.
Yeah, really good, really good.
So the list doesn't change.
The list doesn't change because I've now got a battle with Tommy T coming up. Hopefully, we're going to do that soon because he enjoyed watching this battle and he's getting used to UB. So we're going to have a practice game on that.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. But I'm really enjoying Dread Elves. They're very good fun.
Good. Yeah.
And Dan was great to play against. It was a really fun battle.
Having
a few people listening on Discord is always nice as well. So, yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
All right,
good battle.
Cool.
Yeah.
We will leave it there. Hope you're enjoying the Dread Elves. I am. And thanks, Dan, for a good game. GG, as they say.
Yeah, and cheers to the Ninja Boys. We're getting a lot of games with them. So.
Right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Give me some comments on everything, because I love them. They're such good fun replying to. And we'll see you for the next one, which I think is you. So,
yeah, hopefully.
Alternating at the moment.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Cheerio, folks.
See you later.